Kindness, they say, is the most precious gift you can give to the world. A noble trait, shining like a beacon in the darkest nights. But what happens when the world doesn't give it back? What happens when your kindness is met with mockery, betrayal, and indifference? I'll tell you, kindness becomes your greatest weakness. A soft heart in a world of sharp edges only bleeds, and oh, how they love to see it bleed. But not me. Not anymore. You see, life taught me a lesson, and I learned it well. Devil for devil, kind for cow. It's not about being cruel or vengeful, it's about balance. You can't play fair in a game rigged against you. So when the world shows me its claws, I don't offer a handshake, I show my fangs. When someone spits venom, I don't swallow it, I spit it right back. It's my attitude, my shield, my way of saying, I'm not your victim. Please don't mind. Because if you do, that's your problem, not mine. You want to be kind to me? I'll open doors you didn't even know existed. I'll give you a piece of myself no one else can have. But try to play the devil with me. Oh, I'll become the devil you'll regret meeting. That's the beauty of it, kind for kind, devil for devil. Fair, isn't it? So tell me, what's your choice? Are you here to test me or to earn me? Either way, let's play. You think you're special, don't you? You think that the world owes you something, that it's supposed to be soft, welcoming, and full of sunshine just because you're trying to be nice. You want peace, you want love, you want everyone to pat you on the back and tell you you're doing a good job. But let's stop pretending for a moment. The truth is simple. The world doesn't care about your kindness. You're just a dot in a universe too busy to notice your struggles. All this time you've been putting yourself out there, trying to be the light in a place that doesn't even understand what light is. And what do you get in return? Betrayal, pain, disappointment. And the worst part, you keep on going, thinking that someday someone will see how good you are, how pure your intentions are, how much you deserve the world to love you back. But that's the trap, isn't it? You think your kindness is a shield, but it's really a leash dragging you behind, pulling you into a pit of broken promises and crushed hopes. You let your emotions take control, thinking they'll guide you to something better. Anger, sadness, fear, they all consume you bite by bite, and you keep feeding them. You let your rage simmer. Let your pain build. Let your fear grow until it becomes a monster inside you. And the worst part, you let it happen. You allow these emotions to control you like a puppet. When you're angry, you lash out, hurt people who never even intended to hurt you. When you're sad, you wallow, lose yourself in the darkness, forgetting that it's only a reflection of your own weakness. Fear? That's the killer. It paralyzes you, freezes you in place, making you question every step, every move, every decision. You become afraid of failure, of rejection, of anything that might make you feel like you don't belong. And guess what? It works. Fear wins. So here you are, trapped in your own emotions, trapped by your own mind, all because you refuse to face the truth. Emotions are not your friends. They're like wild animals, untamed and unpredictable. You pet them, you feed them, but they can bite you when you least expect it, and you let them. You let them take over, because somewhere along the way, you were taught that emotions are natural, that they're part of being human. But let me ask you something. What good has that done for you? Has your anger made you stronger? Or has it only destroyed everything you've built? Has your sadness given you peace? Or has it made you weaker, made you feel smaller and smaller every time you let it take over? Has your fear protected you? Or has it kept you from moving, from growing, from achieving what you're truly capable of? You think being kind will protect you, but kindness doesn't protect you from the world's cruelty. It only makes you vulnerable, a target for those who want to see you fall. When you let your emotions dictate your every move, you give away your power. You allow others to control you. And that's the real problem, isn't it? You've been giving away your power to your emotions, to the world, to the people who couldn't care less about your struggles. You've been letting them decide your fate, and then wondering why everything feels like it's slipping through your fingers. It's time to face reality. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It never has. It's a cold, ruthless place. And if you want to survive, if you want to thrive, you need to stop letting your emotions run the show. You need to stop being a puppet and start pulling the strings. But here's the thing. It's not too late. It's never too late to take back what's yours, to stop letting your emotions control you and start controlling them. But you won't do that unless you admit what's been holding you back all along. Your emotions are a weakness, not a strength, and it's time you learn to conquer them. So ask yourself, how much longer are you going to let the devil inside you control your every move? How much longer are you going to let the world, with all its cruelty and chaos, decide who you are? The problem isn't the world. The problem isn't your emotions. The problem is you and the lies you've been telling yourself. But don't worry, we'll fix that. We're just getting started. So here you are, still stuck, aren't you? Still waiting for that perfect moment when things will magically turn around, when all your problems will just disappear. You think that if you're kind enough, if you try hard enough, if you just wait long enough, the world will come around. It won't. You've been lying to yourself, haven't you? You keep saying, one day things will get better. But what if they don't? What if the world doesn't care? What if your kindness is nothing but a broken record, playing over and over while everything around you falls apart? You think you're making progress, but you're not. You're just stuck in a loop, spinning in circles, believing that if you keep doing the same thing, you'll get a different result. Here's the hard truth: you're not the hero in your own story. You think you're doing everything right, but you're not. You're just a pawn in someone else's game. You've allowed the world to dictate your every move, and you've let your reasons, the ones you've been holding on to, become your prison. You've let fear, anger, and sadness write your script. But here's the catch: you're not reading from your own script, you're reading from someone else's. Now, don't try to argue with me. Don't try to tell me that you've been trying your best, that you've been doing everything you can. Because here's the truth: your best isn't enough. You've been playing it safe, trying to keep everyone happy, trying to keep the peace. But you know what peace brings you? Complacency. And complacency, it breeds weakness. You think that by holding back your rage, by pretending to be calm, by being the nice one, you're going to get somewhere. But look at you. Look at where it's gotten you. You're still stuck. You're still unnoticed. You're still powerless. And you're still waiting for someone else to give you what you want. But that's not how this world works. The world doesn't reward nice. The world doesn't care about your tears. It doesn't care about your struggles. It doesn't even care about your pain. The world only cares about what it can take from you and how much you're willing to give. So why are you still trying to please it? Why are you still trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you? You've been giving everything to the wrong people. You've been pouring your heart out to a world that would rather step on you than listen to you. And you've been allowing yourself to believe that if you just keep giving, if you just keep being kind, someone, someday, will return the favor. They won't. You're chasing the wrong thing. You're chasing approval, validation, love from people who don't deserve it. And in the process, you've lost sight of the one thing you should be chasing: yourself. It's time to stop playing the game they've set up for you. It's time to stop asking for permission to be who you are. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. Because here's the thing: you're not. Not yet. Not until you stop relying on others for validation. Not until you stop thinking that kindness alone is going to get you anywhere. You've been so obsessed with being good, with being liked, with being accepted, that you've forgotten what power really is. Power doesn't come from being liked. Power doesn't come from being kind. Power comes from taking control, from mastering the very emotions that have been controlling you. Power comes from within. So here's the challenge for you. Are you going to keep waiting for the world to change for you? Or are you going to rise above it all, take what you want, and make your own rules? Are you going to keep living in fear of rejection, in fear of failure, in fear of pain? Or are you going to use those fears as fuel to burn brighter than anyone else in this dark, twisted world? It's up to you. But I'll tell you this: you can't keep playing the same game and expect different results. The world isn't going to change for you. It's going to crush you if you let it. But if you stand up, if you take control, if you stop begging for kindness and start demanding respect, then maybe, just maybe, you'll become the thing that others fear. The choice is yours. But remember, you don't get to complain when things don't change if you're not willing to change yourself. You've been looking for answers everywhere, haven't you? Searching for someone, something, some sign that will finally give you the strength you've been begging for. But here's the thing: you won't find it out there. You won't find it in people's approval or in the kindness of strangers. You won't find it in the pages of books or the words of motivational speakers who tell you what you want to hear. No. The answer isn't out there. It's in here in you, but it's buried deep, tangled up in all that fear, anger, and sadness you've been holding onto like a crutch. You've been letting these emotions control you, believing that they're the key to understanding your pain, but they're not. They're the chains that bind you to your own weakness. So, let me give you the solution. The real solution. It's time to stop running from your emotions. You stop pretending they don't exist. Stop denying that you feel the way you do, because here's the reality: your emotions are not your enemies. They're your weapons. They're not there to break you. They're there to build you. But only if you learn to control them, only if you learn how to use them. Imagine this: every ounce of rage you feel isn't a wildfire burning everything in its path. No, instead it's a furnace refining you into something stronger, sharper, and more focused than you've ever been. Every moment of sadness you feel doesn't have to be a bottomless pit pulling you under. Instead, it's the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. Every ounce of fear, instead of paralyzing you, becomes a tool sharpening your senses, making you more aware, more calculated, more in control. You don't need to avoid your emotions. You need to own them. You need to make them your slaves, your tools, your power. Pain, anger, fear, they're not curses, they're gifts, but only if you stop letting them control you. So here's the solution: you must master your chaos, not run from it, not try to hide from it. Master it. Embrace it. Use it. The first step is acceptance. You must accept that you're not perfect. You must accept that you've been weak, that you've been ruled by your emotions, that you've been a victim to the very things you've tried to deny. You must accept that the world isn't kind. It never will be. It's a brutal, ruthless place. And if you want to thrive, if you want to conquer, you have to become ruthless too. Once you've accepted the truth, the next step is control. Take control of your emotions. Do you feel anger bubbling up inside you? Good. Don't suppress it. Channel it. Direct it. Don't let it explode in a destructive, mindless rage. Instead, use it to fuel your ambition. Let it push you toward your goals, toward your vision. Let it give you the energy to keep moving forward when the world wants to stop you. Sadness. You don't need to avoid it. Don't lock yourself in a room and cry over things you can't change. Instead, let that sadness be the force that pushes you to better yourself. Let it motivate you to rise higher, to never settle for less, to never allow yourself to be weak again. Fear? Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Let it sharpen your instincts, make you more aware of your surroundings. Fear isn't a wall, it's a key to unlocking new levels of understanding, new levels of power. Fear only has control over you if you let it. And once you've taken control, it's time to focus. Focus your energy, your emotions, your thoughts, and your willpower on what matters most to you, not on the petty distractions that try to pull you away. Focus on your goals, your desires, your vision of power. This is the key to transformation: control. Once you control your emotions, once you turn them from weaknesses into strengths, that's when the world starts to fear you. That's when you stop being a puppet and start pulling the strings. You'll no longer be the one reacting to everything that happens around you. Instead, you'll be the one in charge, the one creating your own reality. The world will try to break you. It will try to tear you down. But when you have control, when you've mastered your emotions, when you've turned your pain into power, nothing can touch you. Stop looking for solutions outside yourself. The only solution you need is inside you. Embrace your emotions. Master them. Become the force that bends the world to your will. That's the real power. And when you've done that, trust me, the world will know your name. Now, let's take a moment to think about where this journey takes you. You've faced the truth. You've seen the chaos that's been holding you back. You've felt the weight of the world pressing down on you, trying to crush you, trying to break your spirit. And for a while, maybe you thought that was your fate, just another broken soul, another lost cause. But now, you know better. You know that this world isn't made for the weak. It's made for the strong. And you, my friend, are about to become one of them. Imagine this: your anger, once a raging storm, is now a controlled fire. It doesn't burn you anymore. It drives you. It fuels your ambition. It pushes you to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Every time you feel that heat rising, you don't let it consume you. No, you use it to melt down the obstacles in your way, to forge a path to greatness. And it's not just anger, it's every emotion you've ever felt, every moment of pain and loss, every ounce of sadness and fear. They all become part of the machine you've built, part of the power that propels you forward. Visualize it. You're standing tall, unshaken by the storms around you. While others crumble under the weight of their own weaknesses, you stand firm. The winds of doubt, of uncertainty, they don't faze you. You feel them, sure, but you've learned how to use them. Every gust is just another push forward, another step toward mastering your fate. Fear? It sharpens you, focuses your mind. Pain? It strengthens you, solidifies your resolve. The world might try to break you, but it can't. Not anymore. This is what it means to take control, to no longer let life happen to you, but to make life happen for you. You've stopped being a puppet, stopped being at the mercy of your emotions. Now you pull the strings. You decide when you feel anger, when you feel fear, when you feel sadness, and you decide what to do with them. You use them. You don't run from them. You don't hide from the dark parts of yourself. You embrace them, harness them, and let them make you stronger. Do you feel it? The power coursing through you. It's the power that comes from within, from mastering the chaos that used to control you. It's the power to make decisions without hesitation, to take risks without fear of failure, to stand up when the world tries to knock you down. It's the power to know that no matter what happens, you'll be okay because you've built yourself into something unbreakable. You've made yourself into a force that can't be stopped, a storm that no one can weather. You see, the world doesn't bow to weakness. It doesn't care about your tears, your pain, or your struggle, but it does bow to strength. It bows to those who have learned to master their emotions, to those who have learned to control the chaos and bend it to the care. And now that's you. That's the power you're building. You are becoming the master of your own fate, the architect of your own destiny, and nothing can take that away from you. Nothing. Do you realize how unstoppable you are now? Every setback is just a lesson. Every challenge is just an opportunity to prove your strength. Every failure is just another step toward the person you're becoming. And let me tell you something, the person you're becoming is someone nobody will dare mess with. You've become the storm, the force, the one who controls the narrative of your life. Now think about what this really means. It means you're no longer bound by the expectations of others. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their kindness. You've learned to live on your terms, to create your own path, and to move through this world like you own it, because you do. You own it. The next time life throws something at you, the next time someone tries to knock you down, remember this, you've already won. You've already beaten them. They don't even know what's coming. You've become a force they can't even begin to understand. And that's your power. That's the empowerment that comes from taking control. That's what it means to become truly unstoppable. So go ahead. Walk through this world with your head held high. Show them who you've become. Show them the power you've built. Because now you don't just survive, you conquer. So here we are, standing at the edge of everything you've ever wanted and everything you've ever feared. The choice is yours. And let me tell you this, the world is watching. It's waiting to see if you'll break, if you'll crumble, if you'll let the weight of your own fears and doubts drag you back into the shadows. But here's the thing, the world doesn't know what's coming. They don't know the power you've just unlocked. They have no idea that you've shed your weakness like a snake sheds its skin, and what stands before them now isn't a mere man, but a force they can't contain, a force they can't stop. The world will try to tell you that you're not enough. It will tell you that you're not worthy, that you don't belong. It will try to crush you with its lies, its cruelty, its indifference. But here's the truth, that's exactly what it wants. It wants you to believe you're small, insignificant. It wants you to feel like you don't matter. But let me remind you of something, the world bows to power. It doesn't bow to kindness. It doesn't bow to good intentions. It bows to those who command the stage. And right now, that's you. The moment you stop begging for approval, stop seeking validation from others, that's the moment you take control of your life. That's the moment the world will bend to your will, because you've stepped into the realm of those who control the narrative. You're no longer the one waiting for permission. You're the one giving orders. You're the one who decides who succeeds and who falls. And trust me, the world is about to feel your presence. What are you going to do with that power? Will you hide from it? Will you let it slip through your fingers like water in a broken cup? Or will you seize it? Will you grab it with both hands, tighten your grip, and demand what's rightfully yours? You've spent too long letting others dictate the terms. You've spent too long being controlled by the chaos of your own mind, by the winds of the world, by the expectations of others. But now, Enodo, you know what it means to take control. You've seen your potential. You've seen the power you hold in your grasp. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Don't wait for someone else to give you what you deserve. Don't wait for permission. The world doesn't care if you're ready or not. It's not going to wait for you to catch up. It will pass you by if you let it. But now, with the strength you've gained, with the control you've mastered, you are ready. And if you're ready, then what's stopping you? You think the road is long, that the journey is tough, that you don't have what it takes to get to the top. But look around. Look at the world. Those who make it to the top aren't the ones who were born with silver spoons in their mouths. They're the ones who decided they were going to take what was theirs, no matter what it took. They're the ones who decided the world was going to bow to them, not the other way around. And that's what you need to decide. That's the moment you need to make. The moment when you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am the one who will rise. I am the one who will take control. I am the one who will make this world mine. So do it. Stop waiting. Stop wondering if you're good enough. You are. You've always been. And now you have the power to prove it. You've spent enough time being the victim of your circumstances. Now it's time to be the victor. Take the chaos, take the anger, the fear, the pain, and use it to fuel your rise. You are not weak. You are not a bystander in your own life. You are the one who decides what happens next. Go out there and show them. Show the world what happens when someone decides to take control. Show them what happens when you stop playing the game by their rules and start creating your own. The world will watch in awe as you rise because they will fear the power you now possess. And while they crumble beneath the weight of their own apathy, you will soar. You will soar, conquer. You will become the storm they never saw coming. So I ask you again, what are you going to do with that power? The answer should be obvious. Take it, own it, and let the world bow before you.